Picture this. You wake up in a grand, cold castle, a noblewoman wrapped in fine linens. But there's no running water, no shower waiting for you. Instead, your morning starts with a rough, damp cloth and a thought. Not if you'll bathe, but when you last did, which, by the way, might have been months ago. We tend to imagine medieval noblewomen as ladies of leisure, but their beauty and hygiene routines were anything but glamorous. In fact, some of them were just plain gross. Today, we're pulling back the velvet curtain on 7 shocking hygiene secrets of medieval women that will make you so grateful for modern plumbing. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 7. The bathing boycott. We have this image of medieval people being perpetually filthy. And while that's not totally true, they definitely weren't hopping in the shower every day. Taking a full-body bath was rare, and especially in the later Middle Ages, people often avoided it for months at a time. So, why the stink? Well, for a few reasons that made perfect sense to them. First, they were afraid of getting sick. Medieval medicine was all about the idea of miasma, or bad air, and keeping your body's humors in balance. They believed hot water opened your pores, leaving you vulnerable to all that nasty air and letting illness creep in. A long hot bath wasn't a luxury, it was a health risk. And for women, there was an extra layer of social stress. Public bathhouses existed, but they got a reputation for sin and scandal. And if a high-status woman was seen there, it could be social suicide. So, what did they do instead? Targeted strikes. A noblewoman would do a top and tail wash at least once a day. This meant using a basin of water and a cloth to wash her face, hands, underarms, and private areas. It was a practical way to stay clean without, opening the door to the plague. This brings us to our 6th secret, the power of linen. If you're not really bathing, how do you deal with all the sweat and grime of just being alive? The answer was all about the underwear. For medieval folks, hygiene was less about washing your skin and more about washing the clothes that touched your skin. For anyone who could afford it, the layer closest to the body was a shift, basically an undergarment made of linen. Think of it as a historical dry-fit shirt. Linen is super absorbent and tough. It would wick sweat, oil, and dirt away from the body all day long. So instead of washing her body, a wealthy noblewoman would just change her linen undergarments, maybe even a few times a day. The dirty linen got washed, but the heavy, expensive outer layers of wool or silk, almost never. Constantly changing your linen was a huge status symbol. It showed you had the money for multiple sets of undergarments and the servants to clean them. So while we might see it as just avoiding a bath, they saw it as a pretty clever system for letting the fabric do all the dirty work. At number 5, we have the original DIY skincare, animal fat facials. The beauty standard in the Middle Ages was a pale, almost luminous complexion. It was a sign that you didn't have to work in the fields under the hot sun. To get that look, women turned to some creative ingredients. And one of the most common bases for any face cream was good old-fashioned animal fat. Yep, you heard me. Tallow, which is rendered fat from sheep, pigs, or even chickens, was a staple in the medieval makeup bag. Old recipes describe boiling these fats with wine to create nourishing ointments. Archaeologists in London even dug up a medieval tin of face cream made from animal fat mixed with tin oxide to give the skin a shimmery finish. It sounds disgusting, but it kind of makes sense. Animal fats are amazing moisturizers that create a protective barrier on the skin. In a world without your favorite moisturizer, it was the best they had. In fact, tallow-based skincare is actually making a comeback in some natural beauty circles today. So before you get too grossed out, just remember that your favorite lotion might have a very greasy ancestor. Now for our 4th secret, a beauty treatment that's both bizarre and weirdly familiar: snail slime and egg white masks. If slathering your face in animal fat wasn't enough, noblewomen had a whole zoo of other ingredients for their skincare. The Trotula, a famous 12th century book on women's health, is filled with this stuff. Egg whites were used to create tightening face masks to smooth out wrinkles, which is something people still do today. Egg yolks were used as a nourishing hair treatment. And for anti-aging, they turned to snail slime. Seriously. The same ingredient you see in expensive Korean skincare today was used centuries ago because they knew it had moisturizing and healing properties. Honey was also super popular in masks for its antibacterial qualities, making it perfect for fighting acne. But one myth we can bust is the idea that medieval women were using blood in their facials. While some ancient cultures did, historians looking through medieval cosmetic texts have found that plants, minerals, fats, and other animal secretions were the norm, not blood. So while their routines were definitely strange, they weren't quite as vampiric as the stories claim. Moving on to secret number 3. The no-brush tooth care routine. We tend to imagine medieval people with mouths full of rotten teeth, but the archaeological evidence tells a different story. For a lot of the Middle Ages, people's dental health was surprisingly good, often better than ours is now. For example, skeletons from the period show that in some populations, only about 20% of people had cavities, compared to over 90% of us today. The main reason? Sugar was an expensive luxury, so they just didn't eat it. But that doesn't mean their oral hygiene was pleasant. Without toothbrushes, they had to get creative. The most common way to clean teeth was to just use a rough piece of linen cloth to rub away plaque and food. To give it a boost, they'd make pastes out of things like salt, sage, rosemary, and cinnamon. Their version of mouthwash was usually a rinse with vinegar or wine. The main goal wasn't stopping cavities, which were already rare, but fighting bad breath, which was a huge social no-no. They didn't have the science, but they understood the basic idea. Scrub your teeth and use something to kill the germs. Our second to last secret is how they actually cleaned all those linen undergarments. The lye and urine laundry service. So how did they get that linen so fresh and so clean? Well, the main cleaning agent was far from modern detergent. The secret ingredient for getting out tough stains was often a mix of wood ash and urine. That's right, human urine was basically liquid gold. People would collect it in pots and just let it sit and ferment. As the urine decomposed, it produced ammonia, a seriously powerful cleaning chemical that's still used in many household cleaners today. It was amazing at cutting through grease and brightening fabrics. The whole process was brutal. Clothes were soaked in stale urine and then beaten with wooden paddles or literally stomped on for hours to get the dirt out. The smell from laundries and tanneries, which also used urine, was so bad that they were often forced to the edge of town by law. So next time you use a stain remover, just be thankful it doesn't come from a bucket that's been sitting outside for 3 weeks. And now, for the #1 gross hygiene secret of medieval women, the period rag. Menstruation has been a taboo topic for most of history, and the Middle Ages were no different. It was often linked to impurity and shame, so it's something we don't have a lot of records about. With no pads or tampons, how did women manage? The most common method is where we get the phrase "on the rag" from, folded pieces of cloth. These were not disposable. Women used strips of old linen or wool, which they had to wash and reuse every single month. For a noblewoman, this was a private task handled by servants. But for most women, it was just another exhausting chore. To help hide any stains, some wealthier women apparently wore red petticoats. For extra absorbency, it's thought that women would stuff these cloth pads with whatever they could find. One material was sphagnum moss, also known as blood moss, which was incredibly absorbent and was even used on battlefields to pack wounds. To deal with any odors, women would often carry little bouquets of fragrant herbs called nosegays. It was a world of making do, using whatever nature provided to manage a natural process that society wanted to pretend didn't exist. And there you have it. 7 hygiene secrets that prove life for a medieval noblewoman was not all glamour and gowns. It really makes you appreciate your morning shower, doesn't it? Which of these secrets shocked you the most? Let us know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this trip back in time, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more history deep dives, and ring that notification bell so you never miss what we uncover next. From urine laundry to animal fat facials, medieval hygiene was a complex system of practical solutions, all shaped by the science and beliefs of the time. While it's easy for us to call these habits gross, they show how resourceful and clever people were in navigating their world. It's a powerful reminder of how much our daily lives have been totally transformed by science, technology, and a simple bar of soap. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.